Welcome everyone to Mind and Movement, getting smart about how you move. I'm Hazel. Thanks for joining me for Coffee and Move 24. On this, the 21st, day 21 of our retreat here in New Zealand. Hope you're having a great time. Today I thought we'd do a bit of stuff around breathing, as it is the #1 alignment point of any exercise. If you're not breathing doing the exercise, you're doing the exercise wrong. So to start with, I thought we could just grab your hands and put them on the outside of your rib cage and just breathe. Before we do that, actually, put one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. Close your mouth and take a short, sharp sniff in through your nose. Go on, do it. Do it now. Have you done it? Hopefully you've done it. What many people do is this. So all of that air ends up coming into the rib cage up here in the chest, and we call that an inverted breathing pattern. You should read Nick Potter's great book, The Meaning of Pain, to find out more about that. What should be happening is the air should be coming in here. So you close your mouth and this air comes in here. Now that's not how you breathe, that's just the test to see if you have an inverted breathing pattern. Breathing should be in and out of your nose, it should be rhythmical, down into your belly, then into your chest, and it should be just really nice. The exhale should always be longer than the inhale. So you always want to be breathing out longer than you are breathing in. So put your hands around your chest. One of the things that many of us don't do is use different parts of our body to breathe. So many of us are really good at breathing into that upper chest. We're terrible at breathing elsewhere. We're terrible at breathing into the sides of the rib cage, into the back of the rib cage, into the belly. So if you've got one of these cool stretchy bands, grab one of these. If you don't, just put your hands on your rib cage and you're just going to breathe in and out of your nose. I'm just using this as a little bit of resistance around my rib cage, so I have something to I just have a sensory cue to feel. To feel me move in that lower part of my rib cage. Great way of mobilizing the thoracic discs is to breathe into this part of the rib cage, the lower part of the rib cage, and into the belly. So if you don't have a band, just put your hands here. Then put your hands somewhere else and breathe into that area. Then put your hands somewhere else and take your breath here. Then put your hands somewhere else and see if you can get these multiple movements into your rib cage. And when we're doing this, of course, we don't want to be sitting in a thrust rib cage where we're compressing our lumbar spine, shortening our erectors down here, lengthening our abdominals. We want to be in a neutral position. So for many of you, it might be easier for you to sit up on a bolster and then just really relax, have your ribs down in a nice kind of neutral spine position. And breathe. A really lovely thing I like to do after that is I've been sitting with my legs crossed this way, so I'm going to change my position of my legs so I'm crossed the other way. So what I love to do is, with again the ribs down in a neutral position, not in that thrust position, drop those ribs down into neutral so you're not shearing your spine. From the side, when you do that rib thrust, you're basically taking one disc forward and then tipping it back, so you're shearing your discs. Not good at all. Don't do that rib thrust. Drop your ribs. Okay, so here we're just going to do a really simple spinal rotation and breathe in that spinal rotation to take our breath somewhere else, not up here. So cross your arms over your chest if you want, and you're just rotating your spine. Many people when they rotate also shift and thrust So don't shift and rotate. Don't thrust and rotate. Just rotate. Imagine there's a broom handle coming up through your head. You know, really rotate on that axis of the spine. Axis of the spine. You'll notice that I'm not taking my head all the way around because I'm cueing into the rotation of my thoracic spine. Hopefully, some of you guys are aware that the orientation of the facet joints down low in the lumbar spine is like this, facet joints, so it really restricts movement and rotation. There's not a lot of rotation can happen through the lumbar spine. In the thoracic spine though, the angle of the facet joints is pretty much straight up and down like this. So a huge amount of rotation can happen in the thoracic spine. The thoracic spine is where a rib comes off, right? Those 12 vertebrae, where those 12 ribs come off. So now we're going to go the other way. Rotate just as far as you can and use the strength of your abdominals to take your body into that rotation. And it may not be very far. My rotation ain't great. That's why I'm working on it. And I'm checking in here just to check that I'm breathing down here. I love to use my SCM and my scalenes as accessory, that neck muscles. I love to use them to assist my breathing, so I'm trying not to. I'm trying to cue into just using my diaphragm. Okay, so we've just done one rotation each way. Now we're going to do another one. So I'm going to change the position of my legs again. So this time we're going to rotate, then we're going to hold it there for a little bit with our hands pushing us around. Let me show you. So let's rotate as far as I can using my abs. Put my hands down to help me rotate a little bit more. Then I'm going to take my hands up and hold that extra rotation that I've got. And then cue into what's going on. If you've got excess tension happening in other areas, you're trying to push your knee down into the ground, for example, to get more rotation. What are you doing? And on the other side, so taking that rotation, putting those hands down, taking it a little bit further, holding that with your abs. Oh yeah. It's a nice rotation through the spine. And just do a few, really using your abs to twist you around. It's really using that upper spiral line coming from the internal oblique through to the external oblique, up into serratus anterior, into the rhomboids. Yeah, cool. I like feeling that line pull through my body. Anyway, take a break, take a sip. Because, so we've been doing a little bit of rotation, a little bit of breathing. Breathing is actually really important for the position of your head. When you breathe well, that you strengthen certain muscles and they aid in your alignment. When you breathe poorly, what tends to happen is the position of your head and neck actually changes. And Nick Potter, who's an osteo, who wrote that fantastic book, The Meaning of Pain, says that 30% of all neck problems are related to breathing. So if you've got a neck problem, focus on getting some better breathing happening in your body. It seems ridiculous to have to practice breathing, and it kind of is, but we have these patterns, emotional patterns of breathing up here, stress patterns of breathing up here, and so taking our breath down a little bit further is a wise idea. It strengthens up different muscles that help us hold our body in a better position. And if we're breathing all day, every day incorrectly, then we can see how that over time really does start to affect the position we're in. I look like a yogi. Look at my nice lotus position. Can anybody do the lotus position? I haven't done it for a while. Not really. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. Now we're going to do some external rotation of the humerus and internal rotation of the humerus. So now we can put our arm up into a different position. Now we're going to do internal rotation, external rotation, internal rotation. So most of us are stuck in internal rotation with our scapulars, but we still have lost range because we're just kind of fixed in one position, right? So it's still our internal rotation, our ability to go further into internal rotation is not as good as it could be. So this is the external rotation, this is internal rotation, but it's hard to go here because you obviously can't go through your body. So if you bring your arm up into this position, you can then go internally rotate this way and just see how much internal rotation you have in this position. Again here, make sure you're not hiking your shoulder up, your shoulder is just nice and relaxed. How much internal rotation do you have? Heaps? Not much. It appears I have more on this side today, which is weird because normally I've got more on the other side. Internal, external rotation. Internal, external rotation. So we've done this before, but have a look at my elbow pits. Pronation, supination. Pronation, supination. Internal rotation of the humerus, external rotation. Internal rotation, external rotation. And my ability to externally rotate is not that good. So I love doing these external rotation exercises where I'm taking my arm away, externally rotating it. Imagine I have a can of beer in that hand, tipping it out the back, reaching my arm away a little bit more, keeping my chin in and dropping my head away. Again, make sure you're not doing any of this lifting of the scapula up the back, and stabilize that scapula on your back here. I must be blowing off too much CO2. That's why we want to breathe in through our nose, so that we're not breathing out too much carbon dioxide. A lot of people don't understand this, but with breathing, we want your oxygen in your, not in your blood, but in your cells, in your tissue. And when you have too little carbon dioxide in your blood, it doesn't actually release the oxygen out into the tissue. We've got to have a higher level of carbon dioxide in our blood for the hemoglobin in the blood to let go of the oxygen and for it to go out into the tissue. It seems a bit counterintuitive, but it's not. So when you blow off too much carbon dioxide by breathing out through your mouth a lot, which you have to do when you're talking, you therefore blow off too much carbon dioxide. Therefore you'll get less oxygen into your tissues. So breathe in and out through your nose. There's a super great book called The Oxygen Advantage by Patrick McKeown. Great book, read it. So again, I've got my chin in a kind of ramped position. I'm not thrumping, I'm not thrusting my ribs. I'm reaching my hand out, getting this stretch through as I externally rotate. So I'm taking my arm back, externally rotating the humerus, dropping my chin in. So I'm not in this position. In this position, got some length down the back of my neck. Oh yeah, love that one. Okay, give your hands a little bit of a rub, a little bit of a massage. And on that note, claps for yourself. Good on you. Take a nice sip of your coffee. and have a wonderful day, my friend.